Yes, Justina and I, we just had this great conversation in January in Brussels after these demonstrations, and basically there's a lot of tiredness now out in the system. I think a lot of people are really tired of fighting these last 2 years of atrocities against humans. I mean, I don't want to go in details, but actually you had unskilled workers poking children in their nose twice a week. So I don't have to give any further details. I mean, the humiliation, the torture, that was done to a generation of young people was just one example of the atrocities, and people are really, really tired. And I'll give a very short presentation about this now, but bearing in mind that what we normally do is we say no, we can get that, they stop with their crimes against humanity, but they always come back with even more when we think now they cannot do it again. They must stop now. We had the League of Nations after World War I, we had the UN after World War II, and we all agree we shouldn't do it again. There's just one thing missing, and that is what I'll be talking about today, and that is that what we need to do is, instead of always going after the marionettes at best, we actually need truth and reconciliation. We need to merge with them and accept the fact that the people we think who are behind this are just soldiers. They're just following orders. I respect them as my worthy opponents. And I'm a General Patton kind of guy. Once we have defeated them, I want them to just go home, more or less. I mean, they should maybe not have a big pension, and if they've stolen a lot of money, maybe they shouldn't keep it, but I'm not out for revenge as such. But I think it would be interesting if we could actually, for the first time in history, make sure that we stop all these crimes against humanity once and for all. And there's only one way to do it, and that is to find out who the real culprits are. So that was the second thing. Stop it, and then find the culprits. The second thing is what Justina talk about is bring people together. We are actually quite alone. So the activists are very alone. They make demonstrations, and the politicians are quiet, the academics are quiet, nobody's supporting. Then you have an academic making a great speech, the activists are quiet, the lawyers are quiet, everybody's quiet. And if you look at the enemy, they have their Build Back Better, the Great Reset, and they all line up, bang, you know, media, fake academics, fake politicians, they're all fake, but they all align very well. What would happen if we started to be wingmen for each other? It's great we do our own stuff, that's fine, but let's see if we can do some stuff in connection with other groups. This is something I'm sending out to you now, I hope. Let's see if we can do this. We have a long weekend ahead of us. I hope a lot of people will meet people who are also from other branches than their own. So, and then the third thing is we need the middle class, and we need the academics. We need the middle class to come forward, because we're not going to win it. And one of the ways they have been able to get away with all these atrocities is by doing the opposite of what they tell you. They tell you that the economy is going to crash. They've said that for 10 years. Meanwhile, BlackRock has been buying up all the real estate for 10 years. So obviously, what they're doing is they are they're producing so much money that people are busy making money instead of fighting for freedom. It's very smart, yeah? Anybody with a criminal mind would do the same. It's very smart, and that's what they're doing. But they are being led towards a prison with money. Just go over here. Yeah, you make all this money. It's so nice, yeah? But the road leads towards their global dictatorship. That is what they're doing. So that's why we need the middle class. How much money do you need to make? Could you please tell me how much money do you need, and when will you start fighting for other people and yourself? When will you start fighting for your children so they can enjoy the same freedom? I had a great life. I had a lot of freedom to do whatever I wanted. I was laughing, I was partying, I was traveling. I had a great life. And I have 3 children, and I'm so happy they're here today, and a grandson, and I would love to see them have the same opportunities as I have. And now I would like to give you a brief overview of why it is so important what we are doing. And this is it. We can feel a little bit alone, but and in the activism, in the Scandinavian panel today and in the activism tomorrow, you will hear a lot of stories, success stories from people here in the crowd who have been successful, stepping up, saying no. It was not without pain, it was not without suffering, it was not without losses, but we have so many victories. So I want to go back in time to World War I, where they said that Germans were spearing babies on church doors. Yeah, and obviously it was not true, but it was in order to get America in on the World War I on the English and French side. So at the time in 1917, the Americans were supporting Germany because 50% had at least one parent who were German, and 20% had two parents who were German. And the Jewish people in America, they loved Germany because that was the place where they had the most freedom. They did not want to go down to a desert in the Middle East. They loved living there. So Rothschild bought up 25 largest newspapers in America and told all these lies and stories. And we have Lusitania, I'm not going into that. But this is it. And after the war, we found out, everybody found out this. They were lying and cheating. And then we said, they're probably not going to do that again. What? They have done nothing since then. They've started wars, and even in Denmark, even the mainstream media in Denmark always admit a year or two after, okay, that was a mistake. But people's memory is apparently very, very short, and we need to stop that. So here is the Balfour Declaration, how they managed to this is something we should learn in school, that the English just promised a piece of land that was under the Osmanic country, and another region of another area, and if the Americans would join in on the side of the English. So you have the original paper here. This is from a presentation I did in 2018. I remember because they had arranged that the alarm was going for 45 minutes. So I don't go into that, but you probably all tried different types of sabotage when you're on an event. So and then also I want you to everybody should know that Anthony Sutton has proven by forensic accounting who funded the Russian Revolution and Wall Street and the Nazi Party, and it was Wall Street again, the banksters again. They're always funding both sides of the war, and there's always an agenda behind it. And if you think that the Nazis lost the war, well, the Nazis lost the war and the Nazis won the war. And you see it ironically so clear now that with the Nazis in Ukraine that we are supporting here in Denmark and in America, of course. The bombing of the United Kingdom cost 20,000 civilians. 6 years of bombing of United Kingdom, 20,000 dead. The D-Day, as you can see, if you look at 300,000 bombs dropped over Iraq, you will know that this is because this is what they did. When they wanted to go into northern France, they killed 150,000 in 2 weeks. Civilians, French people, 150,000. So they killed 7.5 times more than in 2 weeks than the Germans had killed in 6 years. And this is the way they operate. And even NATO admit that 90% is collateral damage. Collateral damage is when civilians are dying, women, children, old people, men without weapon, just walking down the street, a wedding, whatever. Even the Americans' own numbers are saying 90% collateral damage. It's schools, it's hospitals, it's bridges. It's just like Dresden. Everything. It's just horrendous. The way we allow our government to commit crimes against humanity, it really has to stop. And then I said before, I'm a General Patton type. So he was the good guy on the Allied side. When the Germans surrendered, he said, "Just walk home." And that's why the Dutch are teasing the Germans that they want their bike back. When the Germany and Holland play football, they want their bike back because the Germans, they were allowed to go home. The Germans in France were not so lucky. The Eisenhower, he put them in an open field
and he killed at least 1 million. The Geneva Convention is that you have to give prisoners of war the same food you give your own soldiers. Now the Americans, they just killed them all. They put them out, barbed wires, no food, no shelter, no water. And here they even wrote about it. Let me read from the newspaper in Florida, April 24, 1945. The Allied bag of German prisoners during April already has passed the 1 million mark with 6 more days left. From April 1st to 22, inclusive 992,578 prisoners were killed. They even wrote about it, bragging in the newspaper. This is how much this hatred was. So if we were concerned about saving lives and innocent lives, that must also count for Germans, right? If it was like that. And here we see the vast camps. These are actual photos of Germans without shelter, without anything. And you have my big hero, John F. Kennedy here. So he stopped Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods was about that the CIA suggested that basically kill some Americans, blame it on the Cubans, and then attack. Okay, so and John F. Kennedy said no to that. And these are kind of leaders we need. We need leaders who will not make false flag operations, who will lie, who will kill civilians to have a reaction and come then with a solution, which is to start another war. We also have the example here, just to give you another one from the Vietnamese War, where they said that they had the Gulf of Tonkin, that the Vietnamese had bombed something. That was nothing. It was just another ruse. And then the Daniel Gans have written a book about this Operation Gladio. This were again CIA bombing civilians all over Europe, non-stop, until the Belgian government and the Italian government had enough, and they said now. Then they went public with it. So officially it stopped, at least. And I think we don't see a lot of bombs going off in supermarkets and train stations anymore. So I guess they were successful in that. Here was supposed to be a video. I don't know where it doesn't work now. Okay, never mind. The video was about two videos. The first video was about a marketing company called Hill and Knowlton, who trained a Kuwaiti princess to cry. And she said, "Oh, then they took the babies out of the incubators and threw them on the concrete floor." And then she cried, and that way they were allowed to start the first Gulf War and kill hundreds of thousands of innocent people. And the other video was with Madeleine Albright, who died recently, and she was questioned by a journalist. 500,000 children have died. Was it worth it? And then she says, "Well, we think it was a hard price to pay, but we think it was worth it." Yeah. So they start a war on a lie and kill 500,000 children. This was just in the first Gulf War. This was when then they stopped counting the dead. Yeah. And then we have the last example I want to give you for why it's so important that we do not go on holiday and stop, because the people who have usurped the power to create money, they are basically committing crimes non-stop, because we don't go for the people who are committing the crimes. So we had the Danish parliament voting to bomb Gaddafi unanimously. And the basis was one person from Amnesty International who once said to a camera that Gaddafi had killed his own people. And then that was sent to Reuters and to Ritzau and API, and then they sent it on BBC and then CNN and bam, bam, bam. Just one, and they just repeated each other out around in circles, same story. And this person, of course, later admitted that he or she was wrong, but that was a bit late, yeah. So Gaddafi, he made this the great man-made river for $60 billion. So he found. I don't know what. Okay, so he found some water under the desert. He took it up to Tripoli and Benghazi, and you could have free land if you wanted to farm next to the river, and you had high standard of living. Here you see the support when the world wanted to get rid of Gaddafi. The people were out with the green national color supporting Gaddafi, and they did not want us to come and kill him. This is Libya before freedom, and now there's civil war. There are open slave markets, and you had free healthcare, free electricity, interest-free loans. When you got married, you had $50,000 to find a new home. And these are the things we go on basic of one person who says that he killed his people. We fly in, we just destroy the country. These are the type of leaders we have now. And we need to get rid of them. They need to go away. And ideally we find out who is pulling the strings behind them. Obviously he wanted to have a currency funded by gold. So basically this is my last slide, and the idea now is to try to be a little bit more ambitious. Instead of just being happy making money, you know, that at the moment there are no lockdown now. We all know it's coming back this winter, right? I mean, hand up anybody who thinks that it's not coming back next winter. Just take your hand up, yeah? There's one. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. Maybe it's because we have one by then. Who knows? Yeah. So basically we have to be more ambitious, and let's come together now and see what can happen. Because I honestly feel when we are making our demonstrations, people like Justina and I who are organizing demonstrations, I feel so much help from the system. The police are helping. They're very friendly. They are allowing me to make demonstrations. The people in the health authorities, I can see a lot of help from them. When we send the notice of liability to the head of the health authority and copy all his colleagues, we can see there's an impact on what they write on their home pages. We can see the actions towards the Danish people is more lenient than in Germany, for example. It does work to say no. It really does. So I'll just, I hope that we could come together and be braver, and hopefully be joined by many, many more people in the future, so that we can do something, not only to have a small breather between all these crimes that the people behind the scene are committing, but actually stopping it once and for all. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Justina, what do you think? Wouldn't that be great?
I think that's the best plan.
Okay, guys, that was a short introduction. We're having a lot of fantastic speakers and panel debates, and I'm so happy to see so many of you. And I want to thank Justina, of course, first and foremost from Verax, and Orsolja and the team from Children's Health Defense to making this happen, and all of you who has come here, and the whole staff. We have a lot of volunteers who are helping out to make this happen. And if you see someone with a yellow sign, you need any that's the staff. You have any problem, just ask them, and I'm sure they will be delighted to help you. So once again, thank you so much for coming, all of you. And now the next will be some music with Christopher Lundqvist. He's coming in now. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.